Howdy fellow model railroaders, my name is Kevin Brown and I want to thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. Last weekend, my modular group, the N-Scale of Bloomington Normal, was fortunate enough to be able to set up and run our trains. We managed to glom on to a already scheduled meet by a bunch of HO enthusiasts, and so we got a chance to, for the first time in forever, set our trains up and run and have fun. And I thought it'd be best to take some footage of that and share it with you guys here today. Now, basically, this was a show that was not open to the public. It was just train nuts like us, and it was dominated by an HO group called FREEMO, FREE-MO, and they've been doing this for years. I had no idea this was going on. And there was an area in the very large venue that they had procured, stage area that they couldn't really use, so we were able to set up our N-scale stuff up on there. This was an interesting demonstration of a lot of different modular concepts, and I thought it'd make for a very good video. I suppose I should do some background. Modular layouts and modular model railroading, they've been around at least since the 70s. And the whole idea is everybody brings their little piece of a layout to get, and it is all put together and runs something much, much larger. This first started out, as far as I know, in the mid-70s with N-Track, which is kind of the granddaddy of them all. It's based on modules that are 4 foot long, 2 foot wide, and have legs, adjustable legs that come with it, and therefore set up about 30 inches tall. And the idea is to essentially C-clamp these together in ovals, with the central operating pit being where the modelers are, the people running the trains, and outside of this pit is where the general public is. These were set up for public shows. If you've been to any train show in the last, gracious, 50 years, this sort of format has been very common and has dominated the layouts that show up at train shows. It was an easy standard to stick to, and it was easily adaptable to other scales, so it's still very commonly seen. Now, out of this evolved T-Track, which is much smaller modules, and instead of having their own stand-on legs, they're designed to be set up on banquet tables and provided by the venue. And so it's the same idea. Everybody brings their own pieces of the layout, and in this case snaps them together, and we run trains more or less in circles, all train show, and talk to the public, and it's a very social thing and quite fun. Now, some years back, first in Europe and now in the US, there was a reaction to this whole concept, and originally started in Europe as I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, FREMO, which I assume was Fremo. And my high school German here, we're going to see how that works. It stands for Freundeskreis Europäischer Modelbahner, which basically means Circle of Friends of European Model Railroaders. Their standards were quite different. First off, they had no intention of having this as a public show. It's just for enthusiasts. The module height was raised considerably, more closer to chest level than a full-grown individual, and therefore ignoring the whole idea of having kids around. And the only thing that was modularized or standardized is the end plates, the parts where the modules come together. After that, you can do whatever you want. There, you can have a gentle curve in it. You can be single track and be double track. It's quite flexible, and the whole idea is they don't want to run in circles at all. Their idea is to have set up an operational scheme in rented space where everybody comes together and brings their modules, and run model railroads for themselves and not for the public all weekend. So that's the basis of that standard. Now, this show we went to last weekend showcased all three of these concepts. My group, the N-Scale of Bloomington Normal, we set up our N-Track modules, which is where we all started. We also there was a little space left over. We set up a small T-Track layout, and then the vast majority of the space was taken over by the HO Fremo guys. And I'll start with some footage of this and an overview of the enormous Fremo layout.
No pictures, sir. No pictures. Hold your blue, Jim. Blue. Hey, what is the song you're singing? I got it.
As you can see, the Fremo layout was ginormous. It filled an entire gymnasium, and it took me quite a while to figure out exactly how it was set up and exactly what they were trying to do, but it was quite ingenious. Essentially, there were two completely separate operating sections, one of which was a double track, essentially giant dog bone, with the end curve pieces being able to be used as staging yards. And this was to allow people to run trains, just to run trains, and get a chance to click some miles off. The other layout was again a dog bone kind of way. It had reversing loops at each end, but it was more of a single track with a layout with passing sidings and even a branch line that was more oriented for operations. The two of these layouts met at one place with a junction module, and therefore they had to kind of keep track of each other as they operated. But it meant that you could just run your trains if you wanted to, or you could do operations. I took some footage throughout and tried to catch as many trains running as I could, so I hope you enjoy this footage.
Yes.
So needless to say, we all had a very good time. The Fremo guys, I'm terrible at estimating number of people, but I'm guessing every bit of 30 people were there, and they came from all over the center part of the United States. The farthest away I talked to a guy from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, which is a fair piece. So I'm guessing that anytime that a venue of any size is available, it attracts people from quite a distance to sit down and play. One thing I noticed and I was very encouraged by, there were a fair number of younger people involved in the Fremo group. In fact, there was one group that was a model riveting club from the University of Illinois in Champaign. So I know they had a permanent layout for years, but now they're into Fremo. And again, almost everybody at these train shows are graybeards like me, so it's always encouraging to see young people getting into our hobby and enjoying it. I also owe an apology to Brian Wong. He also set up his O-gauge switching layout at the base of the stage area, but we were so busy talking, I never did get a chance to get some footage of his stuff. And that's probably what I enjoyed the most about the train show, is I got a chance to reconnect with all sorts of friends and tell the same old lies, and had a wonderful time. This has been a long year of no getting together with anybody, and so this was quite a breath of fresh air. So that's kind of what I have of the Fremo meet. They do this again twice a year. I don't know if we're going to be involved next time. I hope so. It was a different show. The lack of the public participation I kind of missed. I guess I'm kind of old school. I enjoyed that interaction, and as far as my first time to get a chance to see the nuts and bolts of a Fremo layout, I'm impressed with its potential. I like how it draws a lot of people together, but I think I'm more of a traditionalist in that I like having that interaction with the public and the traditional train show approach. I'm hoping we have traditional train shows after all this. I know there's been some that have been canceled, but there's good hope that the Galesburg Railroad Day show is going to happen, and that's the end of June, and that'll be the next time my group gets together and we get a chance to play trains. So that's kind of all I have for this video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for watching.